Okay, so we're going to be reading together, and this is the first story. So the story is called Making a Boat to Locate a Lost Sword. Okay, so you can repeat after me. I'll just highlight the title, Making a Boat to Locate a Lost Sword. Okay, let's start reading together. In many cultures of the world in olden times, it was the fashion for men to carry a sword, whether or not it was a practically necessity. In ancient China, there was a tradition where men carried a sword as a sign of social status. This story is about a man who took great pride in his sword. Before China became a unified empire in 221 BCE, it was divided into many states. This man lived in Chu, a vast, sprawling state straddling the Yangtze River and its myriad tributaries. At the height of its glory, the state of Chu encompassed present-day Shanghai and Chongqing. Thank you. So maybe I'm going to need help in pronouncing these Chinese places, but thank you. So one day, this man decided to go visit a friend who lived in a village on the other side of the river. On the morning of his visit, he walked out of the house without his precious sword. His wife, who was much more alert than he was, yelled out to him, "Hey, you forgot your sword," with a smile of relief. The man went back to get it. As he left the house again, his wife said to him, "Be careful crossing the river, and don't forget your sword when you come home." The man then proceeded down the river's edge. He soon reached the spot where the ferries were docked and saw that he had several to choose from. The boatman called out to travelers, "Best ferry service to the other side," said the first. "Fastest ferry boat right here," said another. "This ferry is the newest model. It will give you the smoothest ride," chimed a third. One old boatman called out to him, "Here, sir, my boat may not be the fastest or the smoothest, but it is very steady, and I'll give you the best price." It took the man only a moment to realize that this old boatman needed the business the most. So he decided to take his ferry. The ride was pleasant enough until suddenly, about halfway across the river, the water became choppy. The ferry rocked from side to side. All of a sudden, the man lost his grip on his sword, and it fell into the river with a splash. "Stop!" he yelled. "My sword fell abroad." Yes. The boatman stopped the boat while the man peered down into the murky water for his sword. Sadly, there was no sign of it. He was quite distraught, but then he had an idea. He decided to carve a notch on the side of the boat where his sword had gone overboard. He did this with a little knife that he always kept in his pocket. And he did it surreptitiously. I'm not sure. Very hard word even for me to pronounce. Not a very common word. As he thought to himself, "When we reach more shallow water, I'll jump into the water where I made this mark. That way, I should be able to find my sword." All this time, the boatman kept his eye on the water, trying to keep his boat steady So he did not notice what his passenger was doing. As the ferry neared the other side of the river, the man rolled up his pants legs and jumped into the water. "What on earth are you doing?" cried the boatman, thinking that the man was trying to jump off the ferry without paying. When the man explained his plan for finding his sword, the boatman doubled over with laughter, but then quickly composed himself and said with a straight face, "Sir, with all due respect, for a man of your stature, I regret to inform you that the boat has long since left the spot where your sword fell into the water. You'll never find it this way." This story later gave birth to the proverb, "Carving a boat to find a sword." It is used to epitomize people who are stuck in their ways, obvious to changing times. Oblivious to changing times. In so many aspects of contemporary life, it is important to keep up with the times. Technological developments and globalization have certainly shown that this proverb is as true today as it ever was. Okay, so that is the story which is called "Making a Boat to Locate a Lost Sword." So a very traditional Chinese story.